This little fella is actually my first carving, antler carving. I've done a few odds and ends in antler before, but a few friends asked for me to carve this for a wedding present, and I kind of wasn't really sure about it at the time, but you know, I really enjoyed doing it. I've been painting for a few years, and like I say, this is my first sort of effort into the carving world. I kind of like it. I think I'll carry on. Well, these antlers came from a number of different people around town. The first person I approached was Percy Williams, because he had them all in his garage, and he gave me a couple of caribou horns and a moose horn, and that kind of got me started. Rob, I don't know what his last name is, gave me this one. He wants a cribbage board, so cut the edge off here, make a cribbage board. Jeff Byrne took me out to one of the lakes in his little six-wheel machine and had a set on a cabin, and he brought one of them back there, one of these. Some I found in the bush. Jack Bowers took me out to a lake in his plane, and we brought back a whole bunch of old ones. The old ones are good because they have all kinds of neat colors and stuff in them. And even though they're rotten on the tips, you can still use the shaft, which is usually really strong. Ken Booth got me started actually carving because he gave me this set down here at the bottom, and actually this set right here. He said, well, I was going to make a cribbage board out of them and a knife handle, but he said, I said, well, gee, if you give them to me, I'll make them for you. And so that's what I did. I've finished the cribbage board and I've given it to him. It turned out really well. Oh, the tools are really neat. Maureen Morris, who's an antler carver in Antler. In fact, she's the one who I saw in '85 who inspired me to try this kind of thing. Just recently had an exhibition of her works and so on. But I called her up and asked her what kind of tools one would be good to use, and she mentioned these things here. They're high-speed grinders. They're amazing, amazing. You know, these carbide bits that are good for steel and all the rest of it. You know, you put your little moose horn in there and you turn them on. And it's like being in the dentist's office all over again, you know. And you get moose shavings all over you. Oh, it's a lot of fun. A little Dremel tool here for the finer details. Yeah. The flyer that Maureen sent out, and the fellow who asked for the eagle set saw this one, but he said, that's really nice, I'd like something like that, but let me go home and find a picture. So he goes home and he finds this picture of this outrageous eagle that's on a three-quarter view and all the rest of it. This one here. And that's the eagle picture he brought, and I tried to make a synthesis of the two pictures because I thought you'd need to do it on a sort of a flat kind of a surface, but then I thought, well, why don't I try it and see. And this is, well, this is the result here. It's kind of close. I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyway, I'll show you with this crib board thing. This is amazing. You think a crib board, hey, it's got to be easy. Well, I cut the piece of horn off. If you see this horn here, it came off right here, which is about the same, sort of the same spot as it would be if I cut it here. And then it took me, oh geez, a week or so just to think of a pattern to put the little holes in. And so anyway, I sort of put the paper on and figured out the pattern to go around like this. And it was kind of like that, I guess. Hard to say. But I found out when I finished, I drilled the holes that I put one too many holes on one side, and so I had to get a little artistic and I made a little sort of pattern in the bone and drilled it right through. And it looks kind of neat, but it's only because I made a mistake that I had to do it. So I just kind of put a little hole right through the bone here, kind of. And so you have a little obstacle course as you're going around your cribbage board. Anyway, next time maybe I'll tell them more. Miranda hates this part because it's so loud. Clamp it down. Take your saw. So you start about here. cribbage board.
Are you finished?
Quite. When I first started it, the smell would just drive me crazy. But I actually find I don't notice it anymore, so I guess that's good. Because I guess it is. Okay, so then I take it, and this side I'm going to preserve some of this texture and so on, so I'll show you. On this side,
Can I try doing that?
no, this part, you can clamp it if you want. You gotta clamp it hard though. There we go. Okay. And it's hard to see in the light. Can I borrow the thing there, Katie?
No.
I need it though, sweetie.
You use the rocking chair.
Step on it. Take the bone and looks awful. In a matter of seconds.
Can I try? Can I try? Can I try?
Okay, it's too dangerous for you.
I try.
This high speed thing is really dangerous. You gotta be watching careful over it. You can sort of see a little bit here that once you take away this stuff here, there's actually a nice white underneath, and it's impregnated with a kind of a pattern. You see, it's a little sort of a purpley kind of pattern on this one. The fresh ones tend to be purpley. The older horns that have been sitting around for a while have other colors in them, like greens and reds and different colors like that. You can sort of see the purple in this one as well. And if you work with it, sometimes it can actually work to your advantage in terms of looks. And the surprise on this one is a little bit of a green tinge. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera. And then this thing behind the eye, sort of pattern here. None of that you add, it's just something that just comes out in the bone.
What's this?
It's kind of neat when you're working with these kind of tools, because you find the patterns and so on, and if you create a shape, you can almost just, well, because these tools are so powerful, I mean, this one has a quarter of a horse. You know, that's a lot of power.
You know how heavy this is.
And it is heavy, yeah. So you can almost just wish for something to happen with these kind of tools, and just move your hand a little bit, and then it happens, you know. Miracles can happen with these things. It's really kind of neat.